Are you pro or con Target exploring this factory direct model?
I actually love this. I think it's a great defensive move as well as a great offensive move because,
Hmm.
Target to me, yeah, I swear to God, and like I know it surprised me when I read it. I was
Even
like,
even with
finally,
the even with the like de minimis exceptions being reconsidered by the government,
yeah,
like this
I
still.
think that's something we have to figure out, but I think that can be calibrated in terms of pricing and what the expectations are for the customer that you set over time too. And God knows where those things are going to fall out in the long run too. But I love it because I think Target has the sourcing and brand credibility in the apparel and home space to do this better than anyone, to do it better than
Hmm.
Shein and Temu, honestly. And they can do it in a way that keeps the price value relationship strong in the minds of their consumers. In fact, and you might not remember this, but I don't even remember how long ago it was, but I mentioned on a previous podcast how the president of Target Sourcing Services and Tim Mantell was his name at the time, back in 2008, in 2013, we hypothesized about doing this with rugs direct from factory.
Yeah.
And the reason I love it is because for the categories for which Target is known, particularly home and apparel, it provides the opportunity to never be out of stock online. That's what I like about this. And that's a mental flip that I would recommend everyone listening to this podcast do in assessing this headline. Think about what that means. If you could set up your sourcing structure to go direct from factory to never be out of stock online, sure, you have to communicate the expectations and the cost to the consumer, but that's a really advantageous position to put yourselves in. And Target has the reputation to do that better than anyone in home and apparel. So that's what I like about this. That's the customer value. There's growth that can come from this. And minimally, I think the other point about this, I mentioned at the outset, it stems the slow breed from Temu and Shein. And also, it helps your product development too, because you're going to get faster and sharper on the small batch production runs you can run through this as well before you place the bigger bets on your assortment, which are quite very substantial bets that you have to get right when you're deploying that amount of product into a store.